Yeah, this is just never easy. Hard balance. Credit to UConn. They were the aggressors. They played more purposefully. They played more connected. They were tougher than us tonight. And, they handed it to us. And that being said, we got to learn from this. We've obviously gone to new heights this year, but we got to let the pain of this hopefully teach us to go to new heights next year and learn from this and be better the next time. Really unusual to be in this position at the Final Four and have 0 seniors in your locker room and have an opportunity to come back stronger, more connected, learning from this experience and be better the next time. And at the same time, wanting to honor our team for all the firsts that they had, how they represented UCLA on and off the court, how they, took us on a ride that has never happened at UCLA in a long, long time, and just really proud of their effort, the way they grew, the new things they accomplished. And so trying to balance that, we weren't our best selves tonight. And that being said, it's a 3-loss season. And I'm really proud of not only what they've accomplished, but the way in which they've gone about their work. And, we'll be better next time we're here.
Thank you, Coach. With questions from Coach, I saw Nancy, Mel, then Doug. We can get the microphone over. Nancy, if you could raise your hand.
Cori, Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. You played South Carolina earlier this season. You know how good you guys have been all season. How good is this UConn team?
Really good, and they've been playing really well the last 6 weeks of the year. You can tell there's a level of connectivity and purpose that they're playing with. They have so many players that are being stars in their roles, and obviously we talk about Paige and Azzy and Sarah, but the reality of how their whole team is contributing in different ways it's a credit to them. And obviously, some of that has to do with matchups. We match up a little bit better with some of the things that South Carolina does, and allows us to keep our bigs and our length, which is our strength, home in the paint, and where UConn really spread us out and those kinds of things. So I don't think it's not apples to apples, between those two teams, but credit to the way they played as a team with great toughness and purpose tonight, and exposed where we didn't.
Mel, the microphone's right next to you.
First, actually, you could adjust. You lost 3 games, but you only lost to 1 program because you made it up on the other way.
Well,
but to be a scout Sunday between the two of them, because you had great success, which propelled you to the top and the one. What all do you see Sunday between the two teams?
Well, I think that it'll be, it's such contrasting styles, right? And, so I think that the reality of who can play to that better. Most teams, you really want to be able to either be able to shoot the 3, which we did a better job, I thought, limiting that on how many threes they got off. They shot 16, which is, they made 7 of them, but that's less than, their normal 3-point attempt rate is higher than that. But they're going to spread, South Carolina out, and can they shoot 3s and then get layups through that? But the thing that makes UConn so dangerous is how good they are in the mid-range. They truly are efficient at all 3 levels, which very few teams are at the rate that they do it. But I think what you saw tonight is credit them for their defense. We talk about their efficiency on their offense, but I think their defense is they scramble. I mean, they were coming from double teams and running us off the line on inside-out passes. Nobody has closed like that with us this year. And, I think that's one of the things we're going to learn from. But I think it's just so dramatically 2 contrasting styles that whoever can get the game to be played the way they like it is probably going to win.
We're going to stay on our right-hand side. We'll go to Doug.
Hey, Cori, Doug Feinberg, the AP. Congrats on a really nice season.
Thank you.
If you could talk a little bit more about just how you guys are set up hopefully for next year to take that next step, because you, as you said, you have 0 seniors. Unfortunately, in this day and age, you never know with transfer portal who
Yep.
decides to go somewhere. But
Yep.
if everyone comes back, how much this experience could help you with that group for the
Well,
future?
I tried to talk to people, about what it's like for the first time, trying to get wisdom from people that have come before me. But the reality is you got to go experience it, I think. And, I'll go back with my staff and say, okay, what did we learn? What did this teach us? But I do think I've heard it from so many people that until you go through it, it is just a different level of got to be compartmentalization, all the things that are surrounding it, and then trying to be ready to play your very best basketball in a way that you haven't probably prepared like this all year long. I'll be a better leader. Next time I'm in this situation, it's my responsibility to win, to learn from this and to help us win as much as anyone. But I do think, experience is such a powerful teacher if you allow it to. And, I use this quote I got from Tony Bennett a long time ago. I use it with our team all the time. Adversity, if used correctly, can buy you a ticket to a place that maybe you wouldn't have gone otherwise. And I think in other areas, we've really done that. And this is our next area. We got exposed. We got out-toughed. We got our butts beat today, and it stings right now. And may the pain of that regret and this loss buy us a ticket, if handled well, buy us a ticket to be better the next time. Hopefully we get this opportunity.
Coach, we're going to go to the center. We're going to come back up, and then we'll go back.
Hey, Coach, first and foremost, great run. Congratulations on that. As you walk out of here tonight, will you, without looking at the film, will you remember this game for what UConn did? You talked about how well they move without the ball. Or will you look at, no, we didn't execute?
Both. I think both. I think there's to not live in that tension of both of those things would be either not holding ourselves accountable or not giving the credit to UConn appropriately. They played really well. They're a really good team. They earned that win. And we could have given them a better game. We could have executed our game plan better. We could have played with better toughness and togetherness. We say all the time, most of the time, the tougher, more together team wins. And that wasn't us. And we have to got to learn from that. We got to acknowledge that. And every person, it may look different for different people, but even I'll look at myself first, but every person, what was our body language like? How did we respond to adversity? How many mistakes did we make in the game plan in the first 5 minutes? And why is that? Because we have not been that team. And we've been in a lot of big moments. I'm not, so trying to figure all that. But I think it's both and. I think, it's appropriate to give credit to how well UConn is playing. And it's also appropriate that I hold us to the standards that I know we're capable of.
We're going to shift to our left.
Eden Lassie, Hoops HQ. Obviously, this is definitely not what you wanted, and it really sucks. But hearing these two kind of take accountability and say, we're going to be better, what kind of confidence does that give you for next season?
Huge. It's interesting. When we have clearer heads, we'll be able to look back and think about all of the moments, the growth, the remember when. But we only have 3 rules in our program, and one of those is respect and represent. Respect the opportunities that we have and make sure that we represent our university, our team, our families with class and dignity, and that we have a growth mindset all the time. And I was sitting here sort of like a proud parent in this way that, when you have these incredibly capable, talented, driven, and disappointed women, for them to lead in the way that they do. I feel very blessed to be their coach. And we say all the time in our program, and some people will say this sounds like it's less competitive, but actually it's the opposite. There's only 2 things that are going to stay with these women for the rest of their lives from these 4 years. And, in the end, I'm going to have a relentless quest to raise a banner in Pauley Pavilion, and an absolutely driven mindset to figure out how to learn from this and be better next time. And banners hang in gyms and rings collect dust. but who you become and who you impact, you get to keep forever. And I am very proud of who Lauren and Kiki have chosen to be in this case, and many others in that locker room, and who they've chosen to impact through their platform and through what they've done. And their families and our university are very proud of that, and that they get to keep forever.
Ira Gorawara from the Daily Bruin. Coach, again, so much to celebrate this season. What has this season kind of meant for UCLA women's basketball, like this legacy in general? You know, speaking to Denise Cori earlier this week, she was saying that you and your coaching staff have built this, you know, program where players like Janiyah and Tamia, who could start on a lot of other programs in college basketball, choose to come to UCLA because of the culture you've built. And with the success you've had this season, just like what does it mean for the legacy you guys are creating?
Well, we built it together, and you know, it's a testimony by all those people that are in Denise. You know, they went to back-to-back Final Fours in the AIAW era and won the national championship in 1978. And you could be jealous, or you could be like, oh, those guys, they don't know how good they have it, but they haven't been. I mean, there were half of that team that were there in the stands tonight. I was walking out of the hotel, and the amount of alumni that made the trip there that were, you know, cheering us on and sent us a video today. And I think that we don't do that alone. And so, but I think our culture is built on doing something bigger together than you could do on your own. And Tamia and Janiyah are great examples of that. They have chosen to be a part of something that the whole is bigger than the individual parts. But in the end, everybody wins. Nobody's Final Four rings look any different, no matter what your role is. And I think actually credit to UConn. I think that they have a great spirit in that everybody's role is so important. And I think Paige does a great job of honoring everybody's role in that. But the reality for us is that it is about teaching, mentoring, and equipping young women for life after the ball goes flat. But the great thing about it is that when you make those kind of choices and growth, it makes you a pretty dang good basketball team too.
We'll take our next question from the center.
Cori, again, congratulations, what you've done with this program. A couple of questions. Number one, you and your staff are going to get together, and you have a building block here so good that you can potentially use NIL and the transfer portal to your advantage, because your basketball program is incredible. Football has a little bit of work to do, but I'm not knocking the football program. I just know basketball and UCLA go hand in hand.
Right.
So how much are you going to be able to use that to convince other people to come here? And then the second part of that question is, I know the college coaches, men and women's alike, usually get along real well. Do you think at some point you'll reach out to Gino Auriemma and try to pick his brain a little bit and see how Cori Close can build as a coach? Because it seems like the respect that I've seen in the last couple of days with you two has been nothing short of a dynamite.
Well, you know, I've been really fortunate that, you know, both Don Staley and Gino Auriemma that are in the finals have been really good to me, and have been willing to share ideas, willing to grow the game and take off their institutional hat for the sake of growing and investing in others and helping our game grow together. So I think that I want to be known as a consummate learner, and that's my responsibility, is to get better every year. And they're obviously at the top of their game, and so I will continue to do so. But I have already, and I just want to learn from whoever I can all the time. And so that's my responsibility as a leader. And what was the first part of your question?
The first part of the question is being able to use UCLA.
Oh, NIL, yeah. Well, we've been really able to leverage that, because not only do we have some great corporate sponsorship and team deals of true NIL that has been really helpful to us, but we're in the #1 media market in the United States. And so we've been really the beneficiary of that. There's a lot of challenges, and we're in a very transitional time with rev share coming, and how that's all going to work, and clearinghouse and so on and so forth. I won't bore you with the details, but we are really committed to lead in that space and to try to stay mission-minded at the same time. And that's really the challenge, is that, you know, comparison is the thief of all joy, and money can really hold people back from a growth mindset. So my job is to provide opportunity, because I love that women are finally walking in greater opportunity, both financially as well as exposure and all the things that we're seeing in the growth of our game. But in the end, just making a lot of money and having a lot of comparisons, it's going to slow your growth and steal your joy. So my job is to try to leverage opportunity and maximize opportunities while still staying mission-minded and pouring into their hearts first.
And with that, we are at time. Coach, we want to thank you for your time this evening, as well as a tremendous season.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you all for reporting on our game.